everybody, it's me Samira. Welcome back to my channel. And before we get started with the video, I would like to wish all of you a very happy new year. Last year ended pretty well, but I did not post anything online regarding the usual formalities that I do at the end of the year every time, just like a summary of the year. On the occasion of the new year, I decided to make a zine for the first time ever. And in this video, I'm going to show you the process of how I made the zine and how it became a reality. So this is the zine, this is the colored version. So this zine is baby steps for a better 2020. So it has these little tiny illustrations of things that you can do in the new year, of the little things that you can do in the new year to make your life happier. Because I feel that often we go behind the serious resolutions about life, health, career, goals, and we forget to notice the little things in life. So I thought, why not bring back our memories and start noticing the world around us. It also has a little about the order at the back. If you'd like to order the zine, I'll put the link in the description box below. However, if you're not from India and if you would like to purchase the zine, then I'll put a separate link in the description box below, or you can contact me through my Instagram and get the zine, because this link only works with an Indian residence. This video is actually going to be a two-part video. In the first part, I'm going to show you how I made the zine, the actual process of drawing and making things and assembling the zine. And the second video is more of a vlog where I'll be documenting the process of shipping the zine to my friends and family. 2020 is such an iconic year for me. First of all, because of the way it sounds, and it is a new beginning to a new career path that I've chosen in life, which is an illustrator and an artist. I was working on this project for like 4 to 5 months last year. At first I thought of making a planner, and I even made a calendar and I made monthly planner pages, but that project was left incomplete when I decided to take up a career in illustration and comic making, and that's when Salt and Sambar was created on Instagram, and surprisingly people love it, and I get a lot of response for that page. So that's when I started spending most of my time in creating comics, and which is why I couldn't make much on YouTube. This year I plan on integrating both my comic page and as well as my YouTube account by making vlogs and by telling you the behind the scenes of how I make things happen. So when I was making more and more comics on Salt and Sambar, I thought, why not make something for the year 2020, because I anyway had this idea of making something for the year, and since planner is going to take a lot of time, I thought, why not go ahead by making a zine, and that's where all of this started. Alright, that was a long intro, but I hope you enjoyed it, and now let's begin with the process of making the zine. So my original idea was to make the zine and send it to friends and family by post, because that's something that I've never done, and that is one of the illustrations that I listed, which is write a letter home in your mother tongue. So I focused on letter writing and sending letters. So I thought, why not send it to my friends and family and tell them that I exist. However, since I was also making comics, I thought I would put that on sale and see if anyone gets them. And to my surprise, people did order the zine, and I cannot be more grateful for that. So the upcoming video is all about me vlogging the entire process of me packing the zines and shipping them, and probably some behind the scenes talk. So this entire process took me about 2 to 2.5 months to make, because I was working on other projects simultaneously. I know this seems like a long process, and it definitely was, but when you see the finished product in your hands, you feel like everything was worth it. And I'm so happy the way it turned out, and I cannot wait to show you what happened next. Let me start by telling you what a zine is. I know the term zine sounds complicated and undoable, but it's actually short form for magazine. It's something that is self-published, and it's easy on the pocket because we print it ourselves and make it with hand. And hence, whatever you want to convey and create, you needn't go to a big publisher to probably sell a book. You can just make it at home with your own hands, get it printed, and you have a whole mini magazine or a zine with you. You'll be surprised to know that this whole booklet is actually made from one single sheet of A3 sized paper. Now I'm going to show you how I created the sketches, assembled them and made them into a zine. So these are the different types of zine formats that I have tested. This is a small mini version and it is stapled in the middle. But this format requires a lot of comic strips, at least 15 of them. And the preparation time of this would be a lot, and it is a little bit on the higher side in terms of the time spent. And though it's a personal project, I do wish to sell these zines. So I kept this aside and tried the normal zine that you see in most of the YouTube videos. So this is the normal zine, but I felt that the size is too small, considering the fact that some of my comics have details in them. So I went for an A3 size paper and I tried the same staple method, but again I shifted to this one because since it's an A3 paper of 80 GSM, the paper has to be thick for it to exist for a long period of time. And this zine is folded. Each paper here is a double fold. I'm going to glue this one and this one at the end. So this will give extra strength to the paper because I'm using 80 GSM paper. So I went with this zine. So now I'm going to ink all of these comics and I'll get back to you again. If you're interested to know the materials that I'm using, there is another video dedicated entirely for that. You can check the link in the description, or you can go and click the I button right here. Hey guys, so I'm halfway through editing the video and I realized that I never showed you how I finished the inking process and assembled the zine at the end. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. These are the finished, that is the inked comics, and these are 7 papers altogether. Let me show you them. So all of these were done on normal A4 paper, and if you can see, I always draw them with red color first and ink them with black on top, so that when I post process them on Photoshop, it's easy to remove these red lines. So this is the 6th page and this is the 7th page. So this page over here is nothing but this page over here, and as you can see, there's a lot of difference between this and this. That's because I do a lot of corrections at the end. Like once the processing is being done, I do a lot of corrections. Like here the lines weren't correct, the eyes weren't correct, so I do all of them. So it takes quite a bit of time for me when I process them in Photoshop. And this is what it looks like at the end. There was a border that I added later. So anyway, so these are 7 pages in total. However, I also designed a calendar way before I started the zine, because like I told you, I first thought of making a planner instead of a zine. I never thought, zine was never in the decision making process. So here's the calendar that I designed in Illustrator back in the month of September or August. And this calendar, I thought of putting it at the last but one page of the zine so that anyone can easily refer it at any point of time. I didn't want it at the end because it might catch dust and dirt, so it's nicely secured when it's in the last but one page. So that's the total number of comics that I did, and this whole thing took me quite a while to complete. And now I'll show you how I assembled them after processing them in Photoshop. So once all of it was assembled in Photoshop, it looked something like this once it was taken, once it was printed. Now this is a black and white print, and this was the first print that I made of the zine, but later I improvised, I added a border here, and I got a color print done, and the color print's quality was amazing. I actually have a print with myself right now. This one. This is a defective print because it has this mark over here, so I'm not selling this particular print even over here. But otherwise the print quality of the color print is amazing, and I went ahead with color prints after that. So the main intention for me for doing the color print is that these holidays are highlighted in green instead of grey. That's one of the main reasons I went for color print, and this is how it looks. So the way I assembled the zine, I'm going to show you at the end of the video, so make sure to check that out. But I'm going to tell you how I came about this order, because as you can see here, you cannot find these in order. This is the 8th page, this is the 1st page, this is the 2nd page, this is the 3rd page, 4th page, 5th page, 6th page, and 7th page. Yeah, so these are not exactly in order, but how did I come up with this is that I folded a normal piece of paper, not this one, but a normal piece of paper into a zine first, and I numbered them from 1 to 8, starting from the 1st page to the 8th page. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I opened that piece of paper, and once it's opened, it'll be something like this. So this is an A3 sized paper. Once I opened that, I'd get some kind of order over there. So however it looked, I took that as my reference, and accordingly I designed the final zine, which is over here. Now let's see how I folded the zine and made the zine.